Hello and welcome to your very first texture mapping tutorial. It is part of my game series, but you want to learn how to texture map, so let's get started. I'm going to be using GIMP, and I'm going to tell you right away that there's no reason why you shouldn't. It's a very good image editing program. Make your own images, but most importantly, we have to export it as a certain format, and that format is what GIMP can read. Now, we're just going to wait for it to load up. It is taking its time probably because I'm recording, starting extensions, yada yada yada. Alright, so first thing you want to do with GIMP is you want to go to File, New, very breaking stuff. And we're going to make our width and height 32. The reason why we're doing hexadecimal is because it's easier on the computer to read and write from a texture that is hexadecimal dimensions. Click OK. We are going to go to Image, View. We're going Fit Image in Window. And just for simplicity, we're going to just make the size something really small. I'm going to make a smiley face or whatever that's supposed to be. Okay, my artistic skills are amazing. So once you have that, you're wanting to go to File, Export. We're going to go per the C drive. Actually, no, we're going to put it in the pictures for now. You can see I already have some sample images. We'll name this awesome paper raw, or we'll just name it paper.raw. I don't know, something random. It has to be random or else it won't work. We're going to do a raw image data, and up here we're going to name it paper.raw with the raw file extension. Remember, raw image.data. Make sure it says right here raw image data under select file type. To get this, just press on here, export. It's going export, asking you what type. Just click export, don't touch anything. And if all is well, I'm going to go to my pictures, make sure it's all is well. You're going to see paper.raw. You're going to copy this, and we are going to put that in our C drive right here. I have a bunch of other stuff. Continue. I'm going to get rid of kitty.raw because I don't need that. Once you have that, don't touch anything in here. This is all important stuff. You want to go exit out of this, close without saving, exit out of GIMP, and come up here, and you're going to go ahead and begin making your texture object. Before you want to do that, however, I'm going to give you a warning, and I'm going to say you're going to want to make a header file, and you're going to want to put something in this header file. It's going to be safer for when we make textures for our game. When this texture addresses all finish. Oh yeah, you gotta save finish. Delete this and just go ahead and make enumeration and just do that. Nothing else. Put a comma after that. And first one we're going to do no texture, and next we're going to do smiley, or whatever. The reason for this is these are going to be the constants to some texture addresses. Whenever you load a new texture into OpenGL, each texture has its own address. To make sure each texture has a unique address, we'll be using a constant name to symbolize, a texture. Also, the texture cannot be 0, so by default, just do no texture. And this will be explained in some C++ tutorials, but enumeration that doesn't have a name is just basically a bunch of constants. So you might as well just, just pretend that wasn't there. It'd be the same as writing no texture equals 0 and smiley equals 1. It'd be the same as that, only it's a little easier. And if I wanted to, like, put something in there named dog, everything's shifted for me. So remember, have no texture and have smiley. Just do that. You almost don't need to have no texture. You can have smiley at 0. I would just have smiley start at 1. So from there, let's go ahead and make our texture object. We'll make a texture pointer equals new texture. Now, the texture object takes 4 parameters. It's going to take a file path, which in our case is that, and paper.raw. It's going to take a texture address, which is for us smiley, and let me go up and let me include texture addresses. And then it's going to take the size or the width and the height, width first and then height of the texture. All said and done, you should build, and you should not get any errors, but let's just, oh yeah, okay, let's give it a name. Name it texture for originality. You are, however, not done. I know for my recent version of the library, you don't need to do this, but I don't know what version you're going to have, so you need to do this. You have to make 4 more vertex pointers. And this is basically going to tell OpenGL where the text, or my library is going to tell it where on the texture we are trying to extract the data from. Are we trying to like extract the whole texture? Are we trying to extract, let me name that 1. We're trying to extract the whole texture. Sorry, this should be vertex. Trying to extract the whole texture, or we just want it like as a simple part. This is going to tell my library exactly that. Because we are going to just extract the whole texture, it's going to be very simple. Again, this takes 3 parameters. Leave the z alone. The z doesn't have to be anything. Leave the z regular as it is. However, follow what I do. And this is just going to, say a regular square. 0, which is like all the way up here. Then 1, 0, which is like somewhere over here. Then 1, 1 down here. And then 0, 1 right here. It's going to get the whole texture. If you did half, half, and half, in fact, actually, I'll show you what that does in a second. After we get our simple texture loaded, then we can play around with this. Last but not least, you want to do set current texture. I believe that's what you want to do. And you want to do vertex 1, vertex 2, vertex 3, and vertex 4, and then texture, saying we want these vertices from the texture, and we want this image to be loaded. So if we run it, I'm sure we're going to get an error. It says, okay, so instead, put the texture in the front. Like that. And if you run it, you should get some really weird smiley morbid thing. I wouldn't doubt it if you did. Trying to think why and how that worked. It's actually a little creepy. Let me just go ahead and change this around. Sometimes that works. See, the whole thing is all about changing it to see what will work and what won't. So as you can see, that didn't do anything. What if we went up here and changed it so that instead, hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, then that's just creepy. Okay, for some reason that still didn't work entirely as I expected it to. In fact, actually, what is it drawing? It doesn't even look anything like. Make sure we have vertex 1, vertex 2, vertex 3, vertex 4. Go ahead and just change it around. So like, do something like that just to see what will happen. See something very interesting. I'm trying to figure out why it's doing this as part of the programming process. Change that around. Okay, I have no idea what's going on. Next tutorial I'm going to have to split this up into 2 tutorials, but next tutorial I will get right on to it to figure out what is going on. You can go ahead and try instead, set this like that, and like that, and like that. Doubt anything will work, but you know. Yeah, that's pretty weird. I'm just going to set this back to 1 and set that back to 4 like it should be. Because I kind of see what's going on. I don't know, we'll have to figure that out, but in the next tutorial we'll get right onto that. And until then, I will see you.